What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to more Newcastle United transfer news. Asia Tour is now over. That is it. Final game against Tottenham today, which means we can now always start to go back home to Newcastle. Once you're done with this video, make sure to go back and watch the match day experience, because my word, our fan base certainly kept the best until last. What an honour and privilege it has been to be able to physically see that all today. And as someone who's been able to go on quite a few of these pre-season tours with Newcastle now, our fan base gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So just seeing that all today was phenomenal. Make sure to go back and check that out once you are done here. And I wanted to start this video off with a bit of a heart-to-heart between me and you, because of course I have now been full-time in YouTube for almost 4 years, and you get to that stage where I don't forget where I was, but you kind of almost get used to being on these pre-season tours. That makes any sense? Like, talking 5 years ago, I couldn't afford to go to a regular Newcastle United away game, never mind be able to go on what is admittedly an extremely expensive tour this summer by myself, being able to travel the world and do the things that I always wanted to do in life. And it's a real pleasure to be able to just, I guess, live the dream. But the reality is, I look back at everything now, and I don't come from a privileged background. I'm someone that has never had like any special treatment, any benefits from Newcastle. It's just all solely funded from me. And I feel like, especially from you guys, there seems to be a bit of a misconception sometimes that like I seem to get these trips paid off. Trust me, I paid everything myself. It was an absolute fortune. And I wanted to just be able to say thank you, because it really has been a dream come true over the past few years. There's always these sort of trips where you kind of have that moment to yourself and it just hits you all at once. So yeah, I just want to start the video off with that announcement though. I am coming back home tomorrow. Originally, I was staying in South Korea until Wednesday, but I have paid extra money to change the flight Wednesday to tomorrow, which means I will be back in Newcastle 2 days earlier. £400 it cost me to change that flight. To be honest though, hotels, food and drink here, it probably would have cost me 200 anyway to stay the extra 2 days. So I've effectively paid £200 to be back in Newcastle 2 days earlier. And I've done that because when I get back in Newcastle, it's going to be Tuesday. And Tuesday is the day where Alexander Isak is supposed to be training with Newcastle now. So that when I get off the plane, we're not going home. I'm doing my own investigation. We're going to do our own investigation to make sure we can figure out what's going on this week with Newcastle. Saga Cup is coming up. Newcastle need their team available. What is happening with the man that has had all the attention surrounding him this summer, and the guy who has already went AWOL on Newcastle? What is he going to do next? So we're going to do it on the channel. We're going to cover it all. Make sure you are subscribed and you get down there and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the exclusive content once you get off the plane. So make sure to smash the like button as well if you enjoyed the video. And speaking of the training ground now, somehow I'm involved with the Isak saga. Never felt like I would be saying that in one of these videos, but believe it or not, Liverpool fan pages have actually been going through my YouTube videos, taking content out, and then relying on social media, and then posting it in social media, trying to make us look bad in the Isak situation. So if you guys have been subscribed for a decent amount of time, you remember 2 years ago we had an incident with Team Liverpool. First day at the training ground, one of our younger supporters had kicked the car he was in, and now Liverpool fans have used that and said that Isak's returned to the training ground and we have kicked the car Isak was in. That's not the case at all. It is an outright lie. It is fabricated, and they've even went as far to take audio elsewhere as well. So the audio you can see in this clip is not even the audio from my vlog. It's actually audio from a different incident. I think it was the Anthony Gordon Everton situation. You got the Everton fans chasing Gordon, like actually trying to hurt the guy. They took the audio from that clip and then posted it in my video and then put it in social media to just try and slander and make Newcastle fans look as bad as possible. And of course, you guys can see through this all. And I feel like a lot of fans can see through this, but it's got over 2 million views in social media, 15,000 likes, opposition fan, you got media reports and just journalists going in on Newcastle about this. Bearing in mind, Isak was not even in the UK when that video was posted by that Liverpool page. But the point being, it's out there now and makes Newcastle fans look bad, and it's worded and completely fabricated to go against our football. And to put even more pressure on Newcastle United behind the scenes, you know, Isak, his age, and you got all this stuff in the background trying to go against Newcastle. Stuff like this is also going to go against Newcastle. So you've got opposition fans now using my content from 2 years ago. I don't even know how the Liverpool fans have got that video. They must have went through 2 years of RMP videos to find that video. I don't even know how they knew that existed. They must have just been subscribed for a good amount of time. I'm not even sure the origin of that, but they took the video out, used it against us, and of course, as expected, a lot of bad rep about Newcastle on social media, even though it is a complete lie. It is not true at all. We have not kicked the car of Alexander Isak going out of the training ground. He hasn't even been to the training ground yet. Eddie Howe was also questioned after the Tottenham game. Will Isak be training with Newcastle when you get back? Eddie Howe does not know that answer, or at least has decided to withhold that information from the journalist. Our own manager does not know where our most valuable player is. Mental. And there's only one person you can blame. And it's the guy that's been in Spain, it's the guy that's been dicking around with his agent, and it's the guy that's been taking the mick out Newcastle at every possible opportunity. And it just seems to come across like a player who just continues to want out. He's not going to stop this crap. He has to come back to the training ground. I'll be super intrigued to see what's going to happen once he gets back to the training ground, especially with the manager, especially with the players, especially with the club. Everyone, of course, will act like nothing has happened with the player, but deep down, you know there's going to be a bit of friction, there's going to be a bit of tension, and you can just tell things are going to boil over and it'll eventually hit a breaking point. I don't know what that breaking point will be. I don't know if it'll be Newcastle selling Isak and just getting this problem over and done with. I don't know if the breaking point will be Newcastle doing the opposite and going, Isak, no, we're going to keep you and we're going to make sure no matter what, we don't sell you this summer. We're not going to put up your BS anymore. But the point being is that Newcastle will continue, for now at least, to try and get Isak back on board. His new contract, Eddie Howe will have a one-on-one time with him. That's what he wanted. The manager would get his wish and be able to spend time with Isak himself. But what's going to happen next? Will the player and agent continue to bully Newcastle, and will they continue to force their way out of Newcastle? It's a big question. It's a question we're going to find out next week. And as for players coming into Newcastle, that could potentially be an Alexander Isak replacement. I'm going to focus this video on Sesko, and I'm going to stick with Sesko because I personally believe the attention for now should remain on him. Yesterday, we had a bid at 75 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons rejected. By the way, that was exactly what RB Leipzig wanted. The only difference being Newcastle has left out his sell-on clause, which Leipzig wanted. So in terms of fees, in terms of payment, everything was there on the table, but we did not have the sell-on clause. Now, Leipzig also is aware that Manchester United wants this player. The belief now is that Manchester United has been able to somehow fork this money up, and they're going to dump the exact same amount down and leave the choice with the player. Leipzig, Sesko, Newcastle or Manchester United, which team would you like to join? That's the question. And Newcastle now, if I'm understood Craig Hope's article properly, they've offered Leipzig an ultimatum. Sesko, you've got 24 hours. You tell us whether you want to play for Newcastle or not. We will do this if you want to play for us. If not, we will move on to our transfers. And that seems to be the line that's been drawn out. 24-hour timeline. Sesko has to tell the club if he wants to play for us. Otherwise, Newcastle will move away from this deal. And to be honest, I think Newcastle's played the right move here. I think Newcastle should be strong. Newcastle need to wrap this deal up quickly because if they drag this on with Manchester United, and all of a sudden, 1 week, 2 weeks later, we lose out in Sesko, and we are now towards the back end of the transfer window, and we've lost out on a big target like that. I don't think the club will recover. I think it could really get to a stage that you have to keep Isak, even if he does not want to be here, and that's a legitimate concern you could have if there's a player at this football club who will walk out or just refuse to play for Newcastle. You don't want to get to a stage like that if it's impossible for Isak to play for this club again. Now, in terms of Sesko, I'm still confident we can pull this one off. I think Newcastle negotiating skills, we have to be able to negotiate this one well because, to be honest, in terms of this window, our negotiating skills, especially when there's any team competing with us, we've just not been able to convince players. But Sesko, you've got to convince them to join this project. You are Coming at Newcastle, number one striker, he will see social media, he will see what's going on, he knows he's going to come in and likely will be the Isak replacement. So surely, after watching how Isak has developed up players, Newcastle, one of the world's, if not the world's best striker now, Sesko has to look at that surely and go, well, hang on, he's done that in 2.5 years in Newcastle. I'll come in, what can I do? And you compare that to Manchester United, a team that historically has always been a team where the time when the player comes in and they flop, they fail and do better outside Manchester United. How many players throughout the years have performed better after leaving Manchester United or when they go out on loan, but when they are playing for Manchester United, it's a career ender for so many players. It's not went well for them at all. I get that Manchester has a big historic background. I get that Manchester United is a massive, one of the biggest clubs in the world, but they are washed. They're not the Manchester United they were 10 years, 15 years ago. They've just had their worst ever season in Premier League history and they don't have European football. You have to look at Newcastle now and say that we are a better project. We are. That's not biased at all. Newcastle is a better project to join now than Manchester United. And Sesko surely has to look at the situation and surely go to himself, well, hang on a minute. I can develop Newcastle and become a better player. Even in an Isak situation where you want to look at 2.5 years' time and go, well, I'll go here for a couple of years and I'm going to use Newcastle as a stepping stone to get a move to a Real Madrid or a Liverpool. And trust me, I don't want to sign a player that does that, by the way. But again, even though that's his devious mindset going into this, surely you would pick Newcastle to do that with. Newcastle, again, we've got a talented squad. We've got a better squad than Manchester United. And we've got a team that's been able to do wonders over the past few years. You have to look at the project and you have to go out of the two, pick Newcastle because Newcastle has the better project and they have the better structure up front. We just need to negotiate with them because our negotiating skills has been poor. It's been terrible. And there we have it. No need to overcomplicate things with the other transfer names being linked with. We'll deal with that whenever the Sesko stuff either gets accepted or rejected. We will look at the other options when the time is right. For now, focus on the Sesko. That is the plan Newcastle wants to sign. And it sounds like within 24 hours, we will have the answer to that question. What will happen next? Will Newcastle land that signing? So for me, tomorrow, I do have a couple of videos pre-recorded. So I've got my entire travel experience, every hotel, every part of the trip, including the 6-hour delayed flight. That will come out while I'm on the plane. So I've got at least one video to come out while I'm flying. If there's any transfer news before I get onto the plane tomorrow, again, there will be another video on before, but I'm not guaranteeing anything, so stay tuned. But at least one video you will have before I get back home to Newcastle. So appreciate your support. Thank you so much. It's like 3 a.m. here. I'm supposed to be going to bed, but of course, I'm still working with UK time, so it's non-stop. And it kind of works out actually because when I get back to UK, I'll be sorted straight away because I've been doing the UK times the entire time. I've been out here mentally and physically in my body. It's took its toll, but when I'm back, I'll recover, I'll be well, and I'll be ready to go. And I'm looking forward to be back in Newcastle as well. I can't wait to be back in Warsaw. I can't believe I'm saying that, but Warsaw is my home. Singapore, South Korea, been amazing. Nothing beats Warsaw. I'm not having it. Nothing else beats it out there. But take care, and we will see you all very soon back in Newcastle.